Hey guys, David here bringing you a new review for The Walking Dead for the newest episode entitled Service. This episode encapsulated Negan's first visit since the season 7 premiere, so you know that things are going to be tense and they're going to be awkward, with Negan parading around, being as overtop as he is, waving Lucille around while everybody still has that image of Glenn and Abraham having their heads bashed in from the season 7 premiere, because this is their first reunion since then, and this is Negan's first indoctrination onto Alexandria, not just to Rick and his group, but also to the rest of the people. And everybody's like, what the hell is this guy coming in here taking all of our stuff? Even though Negan says half their shit, like he proclaims it throughout the whole episode, it's here in this episode where he shows off what kind of threat he is, what he's willing to do to Alexandria if they don't cooperate, as well as to Rick, and also what constitutes as half the shit by Negan's terms. And for the first portion of the episode, it was awkward and very intense to have Negan there, especially bringing Daryl along after him being taken prisoner wearing the Ace suit. But as the episode continued with its 90-minute running time, which did not have to be in this case because there's so many instances that they could have just tightened it up with the editing or the dialogue, especially Negan, because here's the deal. As much as I love Negan and as much as I love his inclusion in the show to keep the show kind of fresh with its 7th season, 7th year on the air, man, he started to wear down on me. As much as I love Negan, he started to just blabber a little too much. And it is in this episode where I learned that maybe Negan is kind of like pizza. I love pizza. I love pizza. But even I have to recognize that I need to go and try something, at least something different, at least something with a little green in it, like some vegetables or fruit or something like that, after having pizza for, say, I don't know, like the 2nd or 3rd day. Because there's been instances where coincidentally I would have pizza in like 3 days in a row, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want pizza. As much as I love it, I don't want pizza. I want to have something else. Negan is my pizza for season 7 of The Walking Dead, where after having him last week and then the season 7 premiere and dealing with him for 90 minutes in this one, with him just bouncing back and forth and just being so joyous and doing all the lines with Lucille, oh my god, hot diggity dog, you know, I'm just like, okay dude, either kill somebody or get the fuck out. And for a second it looked like he was actually going to do that with Olivia, the person in charge of inventory, when they had to hand over the guns, and I was like, oh my god, here we go, it's getting tense, he's about to bash somebody's brain in and show just how much of a threat level he is, only to cut to commercial and learn that he hasn't killed Olivia and he's giving the people of Alexandria a chance to give up the rest of those guns, those last 2. And that's where I'm like, okay, here we go. Negan is starting to fall into cliche villain territory where they say they're gonna do some shit but they never actually do. And in retrospect, that makes the events that happened in the season 7 premiere with Glenn and Abraham a little bit of a gimmick to kind of hook people into watching it. Even people who stopped watching The Walking Dead tuned into that premiere just to see who got their brains bashed in after having the whole summer to deal with other people talking about it. And now that's becoming a bit more apparent with Negan in this episode not having done anything. And of course he proclaims at the end of this episode that they're forming a quote-unquote bond by him not having killed anybody that day and still taking all that stuff. But even then he runs it into the ground with this little scene here where he's just like, I shoved my dick down your throat and you thanked me for it. I was like, okay dude, I get it, leave. And that's why I'm very happy to see that some of the previews are leading us on into believing that the next episode is going to be centered around the hilltop and we're going to be away from Rick, away from Negan especially. And sadly there were some things in this episode that I just couldn't help but roll my eyes at. There were some conversations between Rick and Michonne and some other people of Alexandria in that church that just felt like retreads of certain plot devices that I've seen before, that they've got numbers, they've got guns, we can't fight, but we have to fight, well we can't. We have to fight! No, we can't! And please do not get me started on Spencer and Rosita. I swear to God, willing to bet money, either Spencer or Rosita, or maybe both, will die by either the end of the 7th season or by the end of the mid-season before we take that break until next year. One of them is going to die. At least one of them. Particularly Spencer. I feel like out of the 2, Spencer's going to be the one to bite it. Spencer because of his little whiny spat with Rick there at the end. Or Rosita for hiding that gun and then getting Eugene involved by making those bullets at the end. Please, Rosita, you are too cute to be the next Andrea. Please don't be the next Andrea, please. And this wasn't so much a problem with the episode as it is with, of course, the people behind the show. what the hell's going up with Maggie? We were led to believe that maybe she did die off screen, which would have been a bitch ass move on their part, but then we have that somewhat throwaway line that's kind of like, if you don't pay attention you're gonna miss it, where Rick compliments Father Gabriel on making a fake grave and how convincing it was, leading us to believe that Maggie is in fact alive. Where is she? Previews made it look like she's going to be at the hilltop, and that's where she was taken with Sasha, but what exactly happened with her condition? Is the baby still okay? What's gonna happen there? We'll find out next week. But again, still planting those seeds for people to keep watching. And again, that could have been easily answered. Actually, I rather would have had that light be shed on that rather than to be coming back to Spencer and Rosita and the whole deal. If you're gonna bloat this episode up to 90 minutes, at least make it with something interesting that we had questions for. To me, the coolest part, however, was some of the things that we were left with at the end of this episode. Rick and Michonne's conversation, where Rick finally brought up Shane. After all this time, we finally got a little wink at Shane and what exactly happened between him and Lori, and pretty much solving the case as to whether or not Judith is truly Rick's. Turns out she isn't. She's actually Shane's, and I don't know if that was a DNA test at the moment. For now, we're going to go ahead and take Rick's word for it that he is convinced that Judith is not his, but that serves as an anchor for him to keep on fighting and why he's willing to bend to Negan's rules. And I think that was a very compelling and very sweet and tender moment for Rick. After saying a line like, "I'll break your jaw" to Spencer, it was nice to kind of counterbalance that with a scene like Rick admitting that Judith is not his, but he's still willing to take care of her. That's endearing. That's something that actually makes me root for Rick just a tiny bit. And what the hell was that thing that Michonne discovered? There is like some broken up pavement. I have no idea. For a second I thought it was a fucking UFO crashing. As if The Walking Dead didn't need to jump the shark anymore with a tiger. I'm not gonna say that it was bad. I enjoyed it, but I think there's some things that The Walking Dead is gonna start to have to rectify to keep itself from falling back into the tropes, back into the reasons why some people stopped watching in the first place. I'm still gonna watch to see how this all-out war story arc pans out, but this episode didn't have to be 90 minutes. There was some blood that could have been cut out, and there was just some things that I just couldn't help but just groan at. So I'm gonna have to give Service a 7 out of 10. My least favorite, in fact my most disliked episode of the season so far, but still had some redeeming qualities in it that made it enjoyable for the most part, especially the callback to Shane. It made me reminisce about why I started watching the show in the first place. So anyways, that about does it for my review. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this week's episode of The Walking Dead. What do you think of Negan up until this point? And what do you think... how do you think the Hilltop is going to be involved with this whole all-out war story arc? And what's going to happen with Jesus? And is Maggie going to have that baby? Make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe for future videos coming up, especially some reviews of Dishonored 2, Fantastic Beasts, Where to Find Them, as well as various other things that I'm hoping to bring you guys soon. Anyways, take care, guys. I'll see you guys later.